And now, more Utalk. Now,
on today's show, we have a very special guest who is no stranger to Utalk. She was one of our interns. You may have seen her on one of the shows. And she also worked, obviously, behind the scenes on a lot of different things. So we are excited about Kylee Faloni joining us. Kylee was the associate producer, I think that's the right title, and casting director for a new short film called Scripted. She's a recent grad of Biola University. Yay, Biola, my school. And she's currently working at Scope Entertainment and, are you ready for this? Disneyland. How cool is that? So let's welcome her back to Utalk. Kylee, it's so cool to see you.
It's so good to see you too.
Oh, you have been so crazy busy. Do you ever sleep?
You know, sometimes I've turned into a nap person more. Like,
okay.
At the break, I kind of take it.
Take a little siesta here and there. And, I might try that because it seems like I'm going nonstop. But I can't believe all the stuff you're involved in now. Before we talk about Scripted, and we talk about Scope Entertainment, and, of course, the happiest place on earth, I've got a totally random question to ask you.
I'm ready.
Now, you're super creative. We learned that when you were our intern. You did just an amazing job, and you've helped us since you were an intern. So let's test your creativity when it comes to food. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do this.
All right. If you were a salad, what kind of salad would you be?
Oh, boy. I'm going to have to go with the Caprese Salad. That is my favorite. But I think the reason why it's my favorite, it has a bunch of different things in it. All of my favorite foods, pretty much. Tomatoes, basil, mozzarella cheese, balsamic. But I also love to do a bunch of different things myself. So having a kind of combination like that. Also, the colors represent Italy, which I'm Italian, and Christmas, holiday. So I think that's for me.
I guess that's part of the reason why we loved having you at Utalk, because, we've got half of the people that are in the strategic places are Italian. So, we like that. So anything Italian is good.
Exactly.
You can never go wrong with being Italian. It's kind of all things Italian. My dad used to say, everything about being Italian is good. So anyway, I digress. We need to get back. So we'll have to remember that. I'll remember that next time I go to a restaurant to order a salad in your honor. Okay, you were part of this short film called Scripted. In fact, I found out about it through social media. I saw you standing on the carpet, the red carpet, which is so cool. So tell us about Scripted. What's the synopsis? How did you get involved? How long did it take? All those good things.
Yeah, so it really explores the idea of kind of finding out your future. I think that's something, especially when you're kind of getting out of college, or even when you're in college, you just kind of want to know what the next step is. It's something that I think, fall into very easily, is wanting to know where we're going to go, what we're going to do after that. So it really explores that idea, and it follows two college-age tech startup characters, and they pretty much end up finding out their future by accident, and then it just kind of follows along with that plot, and you just kind of see the story unfold, and you slowly start to see that maybe finding out our future isn't necessarily the best thing. Maybe kind of having that sense of not knowing and uncertainty is kind of, the good part of the ride that we, would miss out on if we knew what our future.
Yeah, kind of leave it, have some sense of expectancy. And because if it's all written out for you, you may even want to force feed it. How did you get involved in this?
Yeah, so it was a Biola film project, and it was my semester at Biola, and I knew a couple of the classmates of mine that were on the project. They asked me to join it, and I also had the class. It is a class at Biola, so that was another.
Okay.
But yeah, on top of that, I also knew some of the students that had roles on it. So it was taking the class, but then also just having those connections and networking throughout film school. Both of those really played an important part in how I got onto the team.
Now, for those who don't know, and I will plead guilty to this, I know a lot about films and things we've been involved in, but what does an associate producer do, and what does a casting director do? Because those are two of the key roles you played, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So I'll start with the associate producer. In that role, I was really helping our head producer, Karen Corbett, and it was pretty much just helping her in whatever she needed to help make the production run smooth. So we had around maybe even 20 locations. We had a lot. One of them.
Really? That many? I'm surprised.
Griffith Observatory. So we were going into LA. We were going all around LA. We went to Malibu one day. I mean, we had a lot of things that, you know, if you close eye on it, I think things could have fallen through the cracks quite easily. So having the assistant producer role, one of them, we also had Allison, who was our other associate producer and assistant producer. Just having those roles, we were really kind of, we geared them to kind of help Karen, and just whatever she needed, we were kind of the backup there to make sure that everything was running smoothly. And
oh, nice. Well, those are important roles, really, when you think of the details. And I mean, I've had the opportunity to be an extra in several films. I wouldn't call myself an actor, but watching the detail, you know, and the director and assistant director and producers calling things out, and then, you know, backing up and starting again. And did you enjoy that role?
I loved it. It was amazing. It was so fun because you just get to kind of, again, like a salad. There's so many things in it that you kind of like try out and you know, taste test and just put your hands in. It's just very exciting because you get to do not just one thing. You're not stuck in one role, but you have all these different things that you're getting to try out. Mm-hmm. You know, some things I had done before, other things they were brand new to me, and I just had to, you know, kind of figure them out along the way, which is super exciting. So I loved it. Oh,
yeah. Well, it definitely sounds like it wasn't boring. Okay, let's go to that other key role, and it sounds like you did a multiplicity of things, but what is a casting director? What do they do? I kind of know, but for somebody that doesn't know.
Yeah, of course. So the key part of my role as casting director was getting our talent. So we had we had our main cast. We had a lot of people that we brought on, actors and actresses that we brought on to fulfill these roles that we had in the script. So we had our lead characters, Alex and Ellis. On top of that, we had a lot of extras that were students because they are college, our main characters. So we just had a bunch of actors on set, it was so cool. It was a really great experience. So it was following this casting process, working with the director, John Knight, on kind of getting his vision of what he wanted Alice to get across to the audience, wanted them portrayed. And it was just really trying to bring his vision to life so that we could, you know, fulfill the story in a way that he wanted it to be done.
Well, it sounds like it was not boring whatsoever. And it's cool to have a lot of different things. I mean, you know me, I'm kind of ADD and I want to have my hands on a lot of different things, and I get bored quickly. What was it like for you to see the film on the big screen? I mean, was that like an aha experience? Like, whoa, you know, I was part of this. I was at the core of this.
Definitely. I teared up a little when I saw my name when the credits were rolling. It was this crazy experience. That was one of the things that was kind of on my bucket list before I graduated film school. So to actually see it play out was wonderful. And I got to have my family and my friends surrounding me. So it was just the best feeling. It was the best thing ever. I couldn't have asked for a better experience. Oh, that's cool. Now, is it available for us to go online and see, or? So at the moment, it is not. We are going to be submitting to film festivals, but there are things that we will most likely be releasing soon enough. So that's all I'll say on it right now. But okay, no. So if people want to, what's the best way for people to keep up with you? Because I'm assuming once it's available that there'll be something on social. What is your social? So for Scripted, it is going to be at Scripted the Short. That is where you can stay up to date with everything that we're doing, the film festival, and et cetera. So that's the best place to get all the updates on the film. All right, cool. Well, we'll make sure that's in the notes for this show. That is so exciting to, I mean, I think of different projects I've been involved in, and you know, when you see it come together, and it's cool to have family and friends there. Let me back up a little bit. Take us back to the beginning. Not the beginning of Scripted, but how did you start working on films? I mean, like, when you were really young, you had like this kind of, you know, little kids camera and you're going around filming everybody, or? Yeah, when I was younger, I remember the color because it was my favorite thing ever. I had a green iPod, and I would just kind of go around my house filming things, whether it was like family members or I don't know. I would film myself like dancing around a High School Musical or singing a High School Musical. So I think that's really what sparked the interest. But
Okay.
I didn't necessarily realize that it was a career or something that I could totally pursue in the future. So it never was something that I like expected to go into. But I started thinking of colleges that I wanted to attend towards the end of high school. I started looking into film schools because I had been able to be an extra on a couple sets on a Netflix set, etc.
Oh, nice.
So once that happened, I was like, wow, I love this. And I don't know what role I want to be in yet, if it's behind or in front of the camera, but I want to try it out. So I applied to film schools with what I thought would be rejected by every film school, but I got into one. It was Viola's, and it was the best feeling ever. So I felt like it was something that was, kind of meant to be. And so I pursue it and just try to take it day by day. And I loved it. It was the best experience.
That's awesome. Well, obviously I'm partial to Viola, having graduated from there, and we have such a great relationship now with them, and having, people like you as interns. It's good. I mean, it's a very well-respected film school, and my understanding is it continues to garner attention and respect. But I got to ask you a question. I'm going to go back to something. When you were singing to High School Musical, what did you use as a microphone?
Most of I didn't even have a microphone.
Okay.
So sometimes when I eventually got one, it was a microphone that I just never plugged in. So it was, it wasn't really picking anything up, but it was just one. I had a microphone stand and a microphone. I would just grab it and kind of sing around my room. And I think one day I made little tickets and invited my parents in and was like, here, I'm going to do a show for you. I'm Hannah Montana. And so it was a whole variety of different shows.
I love it.
High School Musical to Hannah Montana all the time. So
I love it because the reason I ask is it's so typical. You see pictures or something on TikTok or whatever. Somebody's holding a hairbrush or a wooden spoon or whatever.
Of a hairbrush. I guess I just figured I have this microphone. It's not plugged in, but it's still a microphone. I'll use it. So.
I love it. Are you working on any new projects, film projects right now that you can talk about?
Yes, I am. I'm working on one called Under Refurbishment. It is going to be filming most likely in April. I'm going to be the casting director on there as well.
Nice. With casting somebody into a role, do you you have the characters that are going to be in the film, and do you have some description of, I'd really like to have this kind of a person, this kind of personality, or is it you just try different people and see, oh, okay, that fits, or a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both. Scripted was the first time that I tried this role out, and I loved it. And luckily, the director and producer of Under Refurbishment brought me onto their project, so I'm getting to try it out again. And so far, I'm loving it. But what I try to do is kind of read through the script, really analyze the characters and figure out what I think they're going to be like and what I kind of envision in my head. And then after that, I like meeting with the director and the producer and just going over my notes, seeing if they align with their vision and what they're thinking that they want their character to kind of be portrayed as in the project. And so I like getting, little notes if I missed anything, maybe that they haven't thought of. And then once we actually start the casting process and putting up a casting call, going through auditions, at that point we'll audition. I like auditioning anyone and just seeing, all right, maybe I didn't see this perspective. Maybe the director and producer didn't. So it's having kind of that, I guess, third perspective as well. So I put the two visions together, but also just when the actual casting call is posted up, open it up, the whole floor, and then kind of narrow it down with what I believe that the visions are. Sure. Lined up.
That's amazing when you think about it, because it is really much more complex, I think, than the average person, somebody, see this film, oh, that's really cool, they have this person, that. But there's a lot that goes into it. And I've read stories before where somebody will come in and audition, the casting director will audition another 200 people, but they go back to the first one. But it was like you said, they wanted to audition everybody they could so they didn't miss somebody.
Exactly. When we auditioned actors for Scripted, we had hundreds and hundreds.
Really?
I had Emma, who was also working with me on casting for Scripted, and we would just go through and look at all of these actors. We would watch their reels. We would look at what they had been in. So there's a lot of work, and it's quite time consuming, but I think the payoff is just, it's incredible when you get to actually see them in action. Mm-hmm. Director working with them, when you do callbacks, things like that. It's wonderful. You really get to see the characters brought to life off of the page, which to me is just, it's so thrilling.
That is cool. I'm noticing that a good friend of ours who is an up-and-coming actress just jumped on, and she has done the casting thing, and she has got new films that are happening, and it's always fun to hear these stories like from her and now hear from you as well. Do you see yourself long-term maybe doing casting?
Possibly. Right now, I'm kind of in with one of the jobs that I have right now at Scope Entertainment. I'm kind of focused more on media, but I also do love working on films specifically.
Okay.
Casting director role is something that I'm continuing to explore and just trying to learn as much about as I possibly can, because it is something that I'm definitely interested in. So
yeah,
we will see where that takes us, but
no, it sounds like you really are. Now talk about, let's jump to Scope Entertainment and talk about media, because I know you